Boom.
And we're
back.
live.
There's other people here. Luke? Oh, this is it.
Where's other Luke?
Only Luke isn't available.
I like
know-
that other guy better.
Did you guys watch that, by the way?
I watched a little bit of it.
It was literally just a meme. I was like, I don't know what to do. I'll record twice. Anyway,
clever.
we're back to our regularly scheduled program. And I have a bone to pick with you, gentlemen. Forget the rankings for right now. We'll get to them. Forget the rankings. You guys took a week off from the pod to work on a deal with Santos while he was on his honeymoon?
That was all very bang for me. I only had one side of that.
Sure, Noah, sure. It was Justin, wasn't it? Justin
the mastermind.
instigated everything. And you know
That's
how I know
actually
this?
not true.
Okay, let me hear it.
Santos?
Give us the narrative, Justin.
Okay, all right. So this is the narrative. I mean, I guess a little bit of backstory. I've been trying to get Jahmyr Gibbs for a very long
A
time.
long time.
long
Very
time.
long time.
We have gone through many iterations.
At
and
least 6 or 7 trades.
and it never quite. We were close a couple times. We were close.
Yeah, so backstory, he sent me a trade offer that was essentially Devonta Smith for Gibbs, and I was very, very tempted. I almost pulled the trigger.
And then I upped my offer to CeeDee Lamb, essentially CeeDee Lamb for Gibbs, with like what else did we do? I can't remember
There
exactly.
was Tank Dell and Miles Sanders.
Yeah. And Jared Goff.
And that didn't get it?
No.
Didn't get it. No. He actually
What?
He was more interested in the Devontae Smith trade. So
What?
yeah. And so all that backstory, I was trying to get Jahmyr Gibbs, wasn't working. And I think it was what day? So this trade came together very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the blue, I get a trade offer from Santos. And he on his honeymoon, yes. Alyssa really wanted to make sure that was mentioned.
On his I was holding off hitting up Santos because he was on honeymoon. Like, I was going to go after Allen, and I was like, I'm going to let the man enjoy his honeymoon.
He's probably got lots of time on his hands.
I don't know. It's his honeymoon. Go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, so he offered me Josh Allen, Pacheco for Goff, Sanders, and Nico Collins. And I was like, I'm interested. Because my team has needed RB help for a long time.
Snap accepted that.
Oh, God. Go ahead. Keep going.
And so I wasn't going to accept it because I didn't want to give up Nico Collins.
He didn't have Gibbs.
Well, that wasn't. I wasn't thinking about Gibbs at all at this point. I'm just thinking about Nico Collins. Like, I thought it was a really interesting deal because, like, I was like, I'm getting Josh Allen, Pacheco. I like Pacheco. I'm kind of down on Sanders. Obviously, I get Josh Allen, but like Nico Collins was like, I can't give him up because he's going to be a 10th round keeper next year.
Yeah, the keeper.
And he looks great, and there's no guarantee I can make the playoffs, even being 1-3. Like, I know I've done it before, but it's still a rough hole. So I was like, there is under no circumstances can I give away Nico Collins. Like, this is not going to work. So I was like, well, I'm getting Josh Allen. I don't need Josh Allen. Like, I have Anthony Richardson. I'm high on Anthony Richardson. So I was like, maybe I could like spin Josh Allen into something that's usable that makes this trade like worth it to me. And so I was thinking through, I was like, who needs a quarterback? Noah needs a quarterback. Who does Noah have that I really want?
Yeah.
So I was literally like, so Noah, like, say I came into ownership of, a Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts tier player, would you be interested in moving Gibbs? And he was like, yep. And I was like, all right, this deal's rolling. And pretty much, yeah, it came together like in 2 hours essentially, because I was like, hey Santos, like, I can't do like, are you trying to go after Collins exclusively, or is it like anybody,
a wide receiver,
or is it just wide receiver? And he's just like, it was a wide receiver. So I was like, sweet. So Collins, I took Collins off the board. We talked about Lamb, we talked about Devontae Smith, and I went with Devontae Smith, and
Smith can be kept next year, right?
Yeah, he can be kept next year, but like he's not he's probably not going to be a keeper for me next year because it's
Sure.
probably going to be Richardson and
not Nico, but
Nico.
that might be more value for Santos.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and then it was just kind of like working out the pick swap, and then I mean, like that was it. Like me and Noah's part was done in like 4 texts, pretty much, like
Mhm.
done. So
Like he sent it to me, I liked it. I had to wait for my friend who lives in California to tell me that I'm not an idiot for doing this, and he was like, "Yeah, send it." I'm like, "Okay, let's go."
wait, wait. There's so many. Okay, so all right. So working backwards. Noah, so you have an outside party that you bounce
course.
fantasy advice off?
Of course.
I wish I had that.
I know, man. I can't live without it. I'm always second guessing myself.
I am that person to too many people, and it's so frustrating. And then Justin essentially hit you up with and said, "Look, it will cost you Lockett and Gibbs, and you'll get Allen."
Yes.
And you were like, "Yep."
I was like,
Okay.
I want to risk it. I feel like getting Josh Allen, even if Fields becomes really great, we're still so far from the trade window that I can work out a deal. Even trading Allen if I want to. It seemed like a no-brainer to go for it, especially since my other running backs had developed. I wasn't worried about having to wait for Gibbs to develop to have a chance at playoffs. I feel like
I think we know what Lockett is. Gibbs is the unknown potential boom, but you're getting a known boom in Allen. I think that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I can't believe. I mean, looking at the deal. First of all, so many players. 7 players moved, 1 draft pick, and I don't know how Justin, even though Santos instigated it, I don't know how Justin upgrades his running back room. I think it's a wash at the receiver room. I think Devonta Smith and Lockett to me are very similar. So getting rid of Smith, picking up Lockett, maybe it's a slight dip, and only losing a 9th rounder to do it.
It's a definite like tier break dip, but like I wanted to trade for Lockett's bye because I don't need him this week, and like I'm going to run into bye trouble later on in the season. So I was like, I'm going to trade away Devontae Smith's bye for Tyler Lockett's bye, and that's pretty valuable to me.
Sure. I'm just saying, I think you got a phenomenal deal.
Oh, I mean, I certainly think so.
I think, and just like, and then for Santos, like downgrades the running back room, definitely helps his receiver room, and picks up a 9th rounder, which is kind of inconsequential. The new rule affects 6 rounders and up, right?
6 rounders and up. Yeah.
So like this pick could have been higher. I know that is something in consideration when doing deals right now. I've had several conversations with managers, and we're like hovering at that like 7th round mark because it's like you don't really want to cross into that territory if you don't have to. I mean, I know I would pull the trigger on a higher end deal if it made sense, but like, why not? Automatically just kick your advantage on that if you don't need to. So I feel like there's some room to go on the picks, but for Santos, like downgrades the running back room, a slight upgrade, and Smith, hopefully Smith's a keeper and he gets a slight bump in the late rounds. Like, I don't know if it makes sense for him and from my end, and I can't wait to hear about Santos. I understand setting up next year, but I don't know how this helps set up next year. That's what I'm getting at. Like, but I think
it does, but I think he could have extracted a lot more value, which is probably what you're getting at.
That's what I'm getting at.
He did. The original trade I forgot to mention was also there was an 8th round pick included in that, and I was like, I'm not doing 8th round. Not doing 8th round.
Well, I mean, good for you to staking your guns. I'm just shocked that this is what he was able to get for Josh Allen, who's going to be a top 3 quarterback, and is right. He's like well on the way of quarterback 1. I think no brainer for you two. But overall, just a crazy deal to come through. Yesterday yesterday, yeah. So it was before waivers ran. It was like,
yeah.
We got the GIF of Noah pressing the button, and I was like, "What was that?" And then this trade came through,
Yeah.
and all I could do was emote like the, "Oh my god, wow!"
I think it's just crazy to me. Like, this trade was so effortless. Like, of all the trades I've ever worked, like this thing went through. Like, it was just like, yep. Everybody loves it.
I really am shocked. Like, I was prepared to come in and offer Tua plus for Allen, so to not even like to barely lower his production value and give him bonus. But I was literally like on hold waiting for him to get home from honeymoon. So shame on me.
I don't think I would have done it for a different quarterback. Like if the offer had been for Hurts or Mahomes, I don't think it happens. Just being honest.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with you. Okay.
Let's go
Well,
into
good job,
rankings.
you two. Thanks for setting the league on fire. That was fun yesterday. Crazy. All right. Well, the rankings have now been shaken up. So, monumental trade comes through, and we kind of had the rankings on pause. I literally just rolled over the rankings from the previous week before, so we have kind of like a 2-week gap here to a live update from the rankers. And let's dive in. Let's go for the bottom 3. Any other thoughts you guys want before we dive in?
Nope.
New number 12. So Santos has been at the bottom the whole year. He finally moves out. Maybe because of this deal. Maybe because he's 2-2. Maybe just he's a good manager, and we're seeing it. But Sam is at 12, and
maybe it's nothing, and Sam just collapsed really hard. That's kind of what it is for me.
Yeah. This team ain't good, guys. It's just not good. There's nowhere to get value. I mean,
the only hope for Sam is that Jonathan Taylor will play, and Saquon
Barkley's back.
And Barkley returns. That is your only hope. Otherwise, this is a lost season. Just period.
Oh, the Burrow-Higgins stack has not worked out.
Yeah.
Injuries definitely crippled him. I mean, bright spot in Laporta, but the rest of the roster. Jalen Waddle, wide receiver, or 9 points, 10 points, 6 points. Just abysmal.
Wide receiver 57 on the year.
It's just nothing's going right for Sam. So Sam's at 12. Sorry, buddy. That is no fun.
Are you guys concerned about the Dolphins' passing attack in general?
No.
Not at all.
Just checking.
I would try to trade for some of the Dolphins' passing
Hill had
attack,
a down week as well, right? In a shootout.
Yeah, that's more the Bills just knowing how to play them. What is going on with my camera? Yeah, I don't. I'm not concerned. I mean, I know I'm the 2 owner as well, but I'm not concerned.
Yeah, 27 points, 12 points, 28 points, 13 points. So you can't be too upset with that. QB 6.
No, not at all. And Hill, like, receivers will have the good ones will have like 2 down weeks. You know, like not. It is very, 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 very rare Justin Jefferson who has like a good game every week. Like, receivers are volatile. So, but for Waddle to not have one yet is very concerning.
Yeah.
Specifically for Waddle, but not. I don't think for the passing attack.
Could be coming this week.
I mean, it could be, but we've seen like Braxton Berrios getting it done, and they've got the tight ends involved, and Devon Achane has just been running wild, and like if he's just eating, coverage out there, like let him do it. Like I don't think they're worried about it. Like the Dolphins don't play fantasy,
right?
They play real football. So yeah, really concerning for a while. All right, Sam, sorry, buddy. Hopefully the RBs save you. It's down 3 spots too. All right, Santos is at 11, so he didn't rise that much. And this used to be Josh Allen in a dream, and now it's just a dream. Better luck next year. I think that's what he kind of alluded to in the chat. It's like, I know I've won 2 games, but I'm out of it, boys. So,
not terrible in points for. I mean, most points for in the bottom 3.
Agreed, and like he's not. You can't just
over 100 points a game.
You can't just assume you're going to win against Santos. I know I called him the cupcake matchup last week, and then he beat Mark. So it's like, I mean, I was with Josh Allen.
About that.
Yeah, sure he was. He was fighting to lose. That was so funny. He was bummed.
Watch his team just continue to win.
That would be.
Santos is just in the most interesting conundrum.
Pull a Jacob tank and then sneak in at 6th.
Yeah. I would love that. Except for he's in my division, so please no. Okay, moving on. Josh at 10 And this is another big drop. 3 spots for Josh. And Josh just can't catch a break.
Nothing's going right here.
the team. So 2 weeks ago, we had the Tank Doctor on, and he was all about how.
How many points did Brown and Hurts combine for? And he didn't crack 100 points on the week?
They combined for
That's shocking.
58 points.
Yeah.
And he hit 98.
That's rough.
That's. And he finally got production of Najee at 10 points, so yay. But then Chris Olave had 0.9, and this, I was talking with some of my students today. I'm going to ask you guys, are we concerned because this directly correlates with Kamara coming back in action?
Is Derek Carr the quarterback?
Yes.
He played?
Yes.
Interesting.
Well, he was very clearly hurt. So
yes,
yeah.
Also correct.
I and it's 1 week, so you can't
I would more
say it's
attribute it
directly.
to Carr being hurt.
Yeah,
the injury
that's
and
what
not Kamara.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kamara had 13 passes, by the way, and we'll get to him.
It is
Because he
very
couldn't
likely.
throw.
It's very possible that's
Or
the case.
catches, but yeah. We saw, and we were seeing the Niners duo of Kittle, Ayuk. One of them has a good game, one does not, and that's just going to be the way it is. All
Yeah,
year.
the one time Kittle had a good game because Ayuk was out.
Right. Right.
Like I don't think you can count on Kittle. Unfortunately, you're in tight end hell with Kittle.
Agreed. Herbert finally has a good game on the bench.
Ayuk.
Yeah, this team is in dire straits.
To me, this is the hardest team
Are you
to
guys still starting
know who to
Mostert?
play.
I'm still starting Mostert. I don't think this is Devon Etienne's backfield. I think you have to start Etienne 100%.
Yeah,
But
I'm
I
kind
don't
of with
think
you.
that. I
I'm
don't think
concerned,
that Mostert
but like
is
you have
benched.
to start Mostert. Yeah.
I think you do. Yeah. What Etienne did last week, Mostert can do. 8 carries for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Mostert is
I think he
100%
had like
capable
one or
of
two
that.
more opportunities, but it was very close.
But they're both like they can house anything, like they have the speed, they have the moves, and you're playing. That's what you're hoping for, right? Like you played HN last week, hoping he would get a touchdown. Obviously, he blew up, but Mostert can do that. He's very capable of that.
Yeah.
And he'll have the opportunities too. Harris, I mean, fire Matt Canada, dude. As a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, it is painful watching us run the football. As someone who coaches high school football and understands now like gap scheming and man scheming, and we are terrible. The Pittsburgh Steelers are bad. And Najee Harris is a good player who's giving no opportunity. His best game of the week or year on 10 points. And the running back room really is the biggest disappointment for this team. But yeah. Rough. Justin, you were saying something about this is the team most that you don't know what to do with?
Well, I was saying that to me, this is the hardest team to manage because I don't know who to start any week. And it's just really difficult. I mean, who are you starting? I don't know.
I mean, that's a great question.
We
start Hurts, you start
Carr's health.
Brown. Against New England, I would bench Olave and play Dubs.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. It felt so gross to say out loud.
I mean, that's just the point. I think it's tough to know who to play, and none of the players are performing at a
running back and his backup because you have to. So rough. You can't start either of them.
Warren and Najee, and they're both on the bench. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That's rough. 0-4. Low points. Moving on.
We got Jacob at 9.
It's a rise of 1.
Rise of 1. Close game. Hit a nail biter against me. Taylor Swift. Thank God. Didn't have a Travis Kelce eruption. Taylor's landing. He did just fine. And it was enough.
You needed what, like 1 point from Waller?
I
and you
needed
got
Waller
3?
to catch the ball.
Yeah.
And he did that.
And not
and
drop the
nothing
ball
more.
after catching it.
Yeah, he did not fumble it. He had to just catch the ball and not be negative yardage. Like he could have gotten 0 yards to catch the ball and win the game. It was the first drive of the game. He caught a 3-yard pass, and I was like, "All right, we're done. Don't touch it again, Waller."
And he did it.
And he did it. So, like the last drive of the game, he had like 2 more catches. But I didn't care. I was like, that's a win. We're locked up. We're good. We got what we needed. But yeah, tough loss for Jacob. And injuries really have hurt this team. Akers looked good though in his spot time. I don't think he's gonna just outright take the backfield over in Minnesota. But he could end up being a flex play on a team that desperately needs something. Did you guys see Jordan Addison going for 0 this week?
Yep. Thankfully, he was on my bench in my work league.
What was up with that?
I don't know. I don't know. The whole, other than Justin Jefferson, the whole entire Minnesota offense flopped, and they won the game.
No, so
Oh yeah, Cousins had a bad game too, right?
The Panthers' defense is a run funnel. They're actually pretty good against the pass. And Brian Burns is excellent. They're awful. So Minnesota literally ran the ball at will. So that was part of it.
But Madison didn't have a good game, did he?
No, he had a great game. He averaged 5.6 yards. I think he had 95 yards. No touchdowns, but
Oh, so he had like a good day for football, but not for fantasy.
yeah, not good day for football.
Oh yeah, okay.
He had 10 points, no touchdowns, which is good for a running back.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, the offense sputtered until they figured out, we can just run the ball at will, and then they ran the ball most of the second half, and that's how they won.
I got to deal with something, boys. Keep carrying.
All right.
Until we get to 6. Keep going.
Moving on to number 8 is Justin.
Hey.
All right. Rise of 3. That seems like a big jump. I guess last week you had your first one and we didn't have rankings, so that's probably why it's a big jump.
Yeah.
Now we're on to the next week. Did you won this past week though, right? That was your first one. Okay.
Yeah, it was my first win.
120 to 102 over
Bryn.
It was a pretty. I wasn't watching it that closely, but I think it was close until the second half of the Indianapolis game where Richardson blew up, and then it was like, okay, this is over. Yeah,
pretty much. Richardson was he scored a rushing touchdown in like the third quarter, and that pretty much from then on out it was a rout.
Yeah. Decisive victory.
Yeah.
So your roster has changed quite a bit as a result of this trade. Let's recap it real quick. Who did you send away and who did you get?
So I sent away Miles Sanders, Devontae Smith, and Jared Goff, and I got back Isaiah Pacheco, Gibbs, and Tyler Lockett, essentially.
So I was looking at your roster, and I noticed initially you didn't start Gibbs, and now you are starting Gibbs. What's your thought process there?
Carolina is awful against the run.
So you think they're both just going to feast?
I think they're both going to feast. And
yeah.
And I mean, I haven't made a final decision because I would start Nico Collins, but I'm a little concerned about the Atlanta matchup. Atlanta's been very good against wide receivers, and AJ Terrell in particular is playing really well. And if Nico Collins could see AJ Terrell treatment, I'm definitely don't want to start him. So I could still even start Madison, but I don't know how much work he's going to get. So I'm thinking Gibbs has the safest floor, and if he could break one, and in which that would make
you're not getting goosed. You might get a 40-yard touchdown, and he goes for 19 points or something like that.
Exactly,
within the range of outcomes.
Yeah.
So Luke had you lowest at 10.
I think is egregious.
At 8. I almost had you above Bryn, but I gotta respect the points for Bryn. I think he'll get some breaks going his way soon and might get back to a positive record pretty quickly here. But yeah, I'm kind of betting on Pacheco for you. I think Pacheco will be good, but it is kind of the risk. That is kind of the make or break point for the team, I think, because you don't really have much behind it. Unless, Madison develops, but that's also a risk. But I think Montgomery is going to be a low-end running back one the rest of the year.
Yeah, that's kind of how I have
playing
the
Nico
Lions
Collins.
Are going to feast. Or he's going to feast on the Lions, I mean.
Tell me you're going to play Nico Collins.
Yeah, I'm surprised by the Nico Collins bench.
Well, I just explained. Essentially, I'm concerned about
the game
Atlanta's
scripts.
been one of the worst matchups for receivers because AJ Terrell. So he typically covers their best receiver, and I think that's what
So I
Nico
should
calls.
play
He's gonna
Tank
cover
Dell.
their X. So it's gonna be Nico, in which case I don't want to play him.
Okay.
You got anything
I
to
guess
say about Justin before we move
just
on?
real quick, because he said I have lowest 10, which is egregious, and
Here we go.
I like the teams higher than you more. But I don't know what we traded. Like I said, upgraded the running back room. We're hoping Pacheco, and I like the idea of Pacheco, and this is a team that I think can rise on me. But like Montgomery's not going to
You have
put 30
Josh
a week.
over him.
Yeah,
Moving on.
I think obviously this receiver room is fantastic, but I need to see it multiple weeks in and out, and we're 1-3. Like
We've seen the wide receiver been good in and out. It's
No,
been the running
I
back room
said
that's
the
been
running.
the problem.
I said the receivers are the only good. Like
Is,
that's the good
is
part
Cooper
of the
Cup
team.
back?
Like
not
when
this week,
Cooper,
probably.
when Cup comes back, like we don't know what happens with Nakua. Like Nakua has been
cares?
outstanding and
You
wonderful.
only need one of them.
I know, but
Exactly.
does it become a which one? Do I play both? Do I not play one of my other players that should be in a lineup? Like Nico Collins needs to be in every lineup everywhere, always. And Lamb needs to be
So
in every
sad I
lineup
didn't draft
everywhere,
him.
always. And Cup needs to be
I
in every
disagree.
lineup everywhere, always. And Nakua needs to be in every lineup everywhere, always. And it's like you might get into a situation like, are you playing 2 Rams receivers? Are we doing that? Or we only play one and hope that we got the
The very fact
deal
that we're
right?
talking
It's
about
like-
this as a problem shows me I
No,
should
but
not
it
be
is a problem because you're gonna because of this question, it's going to mess with your lineup every week, and we
No, it's
don't know
not.
if the running back room.
It's not.
That's not.
Okay, we'll see.
Because he's going to trade one of them. He's not going to carry all these guys.
That's pretty likely happening, but
All right, moving on to
Okay.
number 7 is Bryn.
Bryn.
Up 1 spot from 2 weeks ago with 461 points for and a 1-3 record. How are we feeling about Bryn? Who's got him highest? Luke, you and I have him the same, so
I
you
was
talk for
gonna
a
say.
while.
I mean, this team keeps finding ways to score. Like, I have a hard time ranking him lower because he keeps performing. Like, I can talk trash about him, and then it's like, by the way, I dropped 120. Like I don't know what else to
And
do.
lost.
And lost. And lost. So he's when I say Justin's a team that'll probably rise for me anyway. This is a team that will probably fall just because he's gonna probably keep losing. I don't know.
Is Jacobs back?
Jacobs is back. Jacobs was never gone. If you look at usage and production, he was a guy that I was trying to trade for because he's just gonna get better and better and better.
Is Moss gone?
That's the big question.
That's a big question. He's gone this week. He's playing Tennessee. That's rough.
Yeah, it doesn't matter which you're not hoping not to start a Colts running back this week. Tennessee is going to be a run defense. And honestly, Hopkins should be cut. Maybe. I don't know. I don't want to play Hopkins.
Yeah, that's a rough spot in the roster. Is the Hopkins still stuck in the lineup?
Like we talked about Waddle being a drag, but he still has the potential to pop off any given week.
Harder on
This is not Hopkins. Like this is his
waiver
ceiling.
options.
Like he scores a touchdown, and he has 12 points. Woohoo!
I mean, to me, like this team is like what Santos's team is with Josh Allen. This team is with Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill has 3 great games. Bryn has 3 great weeks. Tyreek Hill has a bad game. Bryn has a bad week. So, like, it's very dependent on Tyreek Hill, I think. And like, if to me, like this roster could go down in the dumps very quickly because if
it is
Taylor
kinda
comes
scary.
back, he has no RB2 at all. And Hopkins, like, he has no flex, in my opinion, because like Hopkins
You put
is,
Pittman in the second. Hopkins goes
Pittman,
flex.
in my opinion, is his wide receiver too.
You know what?
Hopkins
Right,
is his
yeah.
flex.
Agreed.
You're right. I'm doing a live ranking here.
So, and
He's making it. Hold on. No, you can't yet. Don't edit it up there. Yeah.
Did that change anything? No, it didn't. Okay.
No, it didn't.
and perhaps the biggest thing is his what was it? His 6th round pick has not been good. Justin Tucker.
Yeah, that's
Not
really
been good.
tanking the whole roster. Huge
Yeah.
bust there. Kicker 26.
Kicker 26.
You know who has been good though? Whoever Bryn decides to play on defense.
That is true.
Yeah, no, I agree with everything you're saying. And Hawkins had the bad week too this last week, which is very unlike him. Normally, he's been spectacular for the tight end position. So, Bryn, I mean, got to figure it out. Quarterback hasn't been helping him really either. He had his best quarterback performances last week. Both Purdy and Dak just not getting it done. Okay, Mark's at 6, and we all agree.
No change for
He
Mark. Still at
He
6.
belongs.
Averaging 103 points a week. He's 3-1, taking his first loss.
He's about to get a second one right here.
Oh yeah.
I hope so. That would put me atop the division if I can get a win.
But that odd down game from Cousins, the running back room is not spectacular. Hoping he'll be carried by his receivers and quarterback. When that doesn't happen, he loses to Santos. And why is Kyle Pitts on this roster? Wait, let me
Yeah,
rephrase
that's a
that.
great question.
Why is Kyle Pitts owned on any team? What is happening?
5, 2, 6, 3 point totals.
He's not the best tight end for fantasy on his own team. Jonnu Smith
Yeah, did he put
is
a bid
better
in for
than him.
Jonnu?
Yeah,
No, I don't think
so.
anybody put a bid in for
No,
Jonnu.
someone's got him.
I did.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like
that
nobody
was
else.
the only one.
Oh yeah.
$2 was enough.
It was enough for the tight end 10.
Oh my gosh, he is the tight end.
Yeah. So I
Should
say
go trade
this,
for Kyle
Mark.
Pitts to handcuff him.
Mark, don't listen to this podcast, please. Keep Kyle Pitts in the lineup just one more week.
Yes, agreed.
Then when he's terrible
The
this
whole
week,
year.
then you can send him. Then you can get rid of him after this week. Okay. But yeah, not much more to say. Oh, Kamara, I did want to talk about Kamara real quick. I don't think that 14 targets will be a normal for him. I also don't think 33 yards on 13 receptions will be normal.
I don't think anything about that game will be normal though. Like,
Yeah.
you
Well-
got to assume Carr will get healthy, the offense will get rolling.
I do think that Kamara will see 7 to 8 targets a game.
That's realistic.
Yeah.
For sure.
Which will make him very, very valuable.
Yeah.
And we were kind of
Yeah,
harping on that.
4.6 for a carry. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, nothing to be upset about.
I have him in a full PPR league, and he had 22 points this last week. It was great. And I looked at his yardage, and I was like, "What is happening?" He had 40 yards and no touchdowns, but 13 catches. Okay, moving on. It's me at 5. I dipped twice, and we all agree.
Yeah, consensus 5 here.
And talk to me,
Wow.
boys. Talk to me.
Let me pull up your roster. Talk to you. Okay, so
I
Henry
like the
popped
record,
off.
so that's nice.
That was
I
good.
guess.
3-1, excellent record. Kyron, excellent. I think you have 3 players that should be cut, and maybe you tried to cut some of them. Evans on bye. Yeah, I sneakily like DJ Moore and Mike Evans as a starting duo.
Me too.
I'm not like OMG Derrick Henry is back for the rest of the year yet, but I'm not as concerned as I was last week. I'm very excited about Kyron though. I think that's probably the waiver pickup of the year.
Yeah, I didn't put a single dollar in for him though.
Yep. That was I think you were fortuitous that Josh got him because I don't know if he gets traded to you otherwise.
I mean, I don't know. My plan was to hardcore go after him. Whoever.
Yeah, you
traded
mentioned
for,
that
whoever.
before.
Yeah. And I was lucky it was Josh. Sorry, Josh. I traded for him and literally put him in my lineup and haven't looked back.
Yeah.
Just plugged him in, and he's always been the late game, so he's just been living in my flex. He would be in the RB 1 or 2, but he's playing on the West Coast, so he's always the late game. Yeah, it's been fantastic. Gotta save my season a little bit. And Evans almost came back in the last game. I think he'll be totally fine coming out of the bye.
Tell me why you aren't in tight end hell with Waller. Or maybe Justin. Actually, before that, Justin, do you think he's in tight end hell?
Yes, because I have Waller in my other league, and I am. It's my
Okay,
one
you
weak
are.
point on the entire roster, and
I think you
trying
are
to get
too.
another one.
I didn't think we'd be consistent there, but yeah, I think
I
that's,
am. I
that's a
am.
rough
The problem
spot.
is I don't know who else to get. Like, Waller's opportunity on an offense that isn't performing, like if they turn it around, his upside is very high. And
Like you
I'm
can't drop him. Like I wouldn't. I'm not dropping
like,
Waller.
I don't want to.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't drop Waller. But you, what do you like?
I'm not happy with it. Like
you don't
want
to own two tight ends. You know, like that's not a great position to be in.
Yeah, who would do that?
Yeah, I know, right?
I don't want to own 2 tight ends.
Dude, I was about to own 3 tight ends, but I had to make a hard call.
Yeah, I am in tight end hell, but like you guys said, I don't know. Like maybe Cole Kmet. I get. Not really. I'm not excited about that.
Yeah, it's like either one of them could get 3 points or 10 points or 0
yeah,
points.
so of course I would love to upgrade it, but there's very
you
few.
can have Muth. I don't need him.
John is
He's on the
available.
waiver. Oh, thanks. The tight end one for the Falcons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, I would try to upgrade him through a trade, but there's like
who
3
is there to
tight
trade
ends.
for him?
Right.
Like, you're not getting Del Hawkinson. You're not getting Del Kelsey or Andrews.
I'm not
Probably
getting
not
Andrews.
Ferguson. Maybe Ferguson.
So I tried to go after Laporta before the breakout, but Sam saw it coming and was like,
Yeah.
"Nah, I can keep him in like the 11th or something." I was like,
yeah,
"Dang it."
no.
So yeah, I was trying to sell Waller in his name before he really crapped out, and it just didn't happen. So I don't like it, but it is what it is. But I really like Marquise Brown too. Like Marquise Brown has been great. And so I think my floor is really good, my ceiling is really good, and CJ Stroud might become a superstar.
A trade piece, you might say.
So you brought up 3 guys that probably should be cut: Gainwell, Bigsby, and Hunt, which is true.
Yes.
They could be cut, but I think they are players that teams who have worse benches than me would go and pick up. And right now they add value to potential trades that I'm trying to make. But not like they're not the centerpiece of deals.
Yeah,
but
they're just like a supplementary.
Yeah, they're a supplement that are worth having. And I know that we had a bunch of waivers run this week, but come on.
Yeah, if someone else wants to wrestle them, go trade them.
Yeah, exactly. I guess if I was trying to start Tyler Boyd because Higgins is out, I would rather have him. I don't know. There's no one on the waivers that I'm like, yeah, I need that guy. But if there is someone who I want to spend up on, definitely one of these players would be gone. But we can say that about every roster, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Enough
Moving
about
on to 4.
It's Ken.
Ken with a drop of 2. No, excuse me. No change.
Hasn't moved, and we're slightly different. But Justin, tell me why you like Ken at 4.
Does he have CMC?
Okay, wait. Quick fact check.
Wait,
Okay, yes, he does.
Yes, correct.
End of argument.
I logged into fantasy this last week, and I saw Christian McCaffrey touchdown, and I was like, "Nice, Ken, nice." And then I was like, "Didn't I just see one?" No, it must have been the same notification. It was a 1-yard plunge. It must have been. I opened the game, and I was like, "Oh my lord!" 4 touctouchdowns, almost 200 yards from scrimmage.
Should have had a 5th.
7 receptions.
He really should have. Purdy got the sneak. Do you hear what Shanahan said about taking him off the field? They had him in postgame, and Kyle Shanahan is like, it's really hard to take him off the field because he's just so good. When he's on there, we just do whatever we want, and so to give him a break is good for him, but I like being able to do whatever I want. So yeah, and then Ken has done a very good job. He has this boom, ridiculous, amazing player in McCaffrey, and then he's just built a roster of quality, solid pieces that are all the base floor. I'm gonna get 10 or 12, and if I get a touchdown, great. Plus Keenan Allen. This roster is a quarterback away from being insane.
I was gonna say the same thing. Having McCaffrey to carry running back room, having Allen to carry wide receiver room. You're not in tight end hell with Ferguson, so the rest of the pieces just kind of have to get you a decent floor, and you're probably going to win most of your matchups. I am concerned about Lawrence, but it's it's not the worst place to be in. You can stream quarterbacks.
Yeah,
he's got 3 good matchups coming after this week, so he'll have a much better. He's had some bad matchups.
You're catching him at a good time though, Noah, because he's down both of his
Yeah,
starting receivers.
his wide receiver 1 and his wide receiver 2.
That's
Lucky me.
unfortunate. But yeah, okay, moving on. Kessner at 3. Whoa.
Drop of
Whoa.
2 after a
Whoa.
2 week though. He probably would have been 2 last week, right, guys?
I had him at 2.
I think I would have had got above him last
I
week.
don't know what I would have him, but based on you
I've
guys,
had him
it
at
probably
2.
would have been 2.
for like the entire season.
434 points for. He is 2-2, not 3-1.
2-2, baby.
Second in his division. Still a excellent roster though. Let's take a look. Mahomes, Stevenson, Etienne, St. Brown, Ridley, Goddard, Watson.
You got a lot of guys on bye right now.
Oh
Bye
yeah, so
and
starters
Eckler
on
injury.
bye would be Walker and Eckler.
Yeah.
And they will be back next week. It's so crazy that he can have Walker and Eckler on bye and then just start Stevenson, Etienne, like whatever. No big deal.
Well, Stevenson's been garbage.
Yeah, but he's still Stevenson.
He still gets a
He's
lot
had
of
2
workload.
bad games. And one was against Dallas where they got obliterated. I'm not worried about Stevenson. I would be playing him, no question.
Well, you have to.
He has to, but yeah. I am worried about Ridley though. What do we think about Ridley?
I saw some interesting stats that based on the way a defense plays them, it's kind of been influencing who they're going to. So I don't think the ceiling is as high as we thought it was, but I think he's still like a high-end wide receiver too, which is kind of what he was drafted to be. So like it's kind of net neutral for me. Like I think it's fine.
Yeah, I am concerned with just the lack of targets. So, like, look at teams. I mean, I guess the Jets are a bad example, but they're like the Vikings and even the Rams right now with Puka. They don't really care how a defense plays them. They're gonna throw it at their guy. You know, like even if he's being bracketed, even if whatever, because when you have a guy like that who's a dominant one and you want him to be the dominant one, like AJ Brown, they don't care. He's going to get thrown at. And I think after the first week, we all thought that Ridley was that guy. Was the guy who didn't matter what. He was the first read in the offense. He was going to get thrown the ball. What we've seen over the course of the season is that Peterson is a very good coach who's going to take what a defense gives him, which is good for the Jaguars, but bad for Ridley because Ridley's not getting force-fed. I mean, this last week he had a touchdown. He had 2 targets. And I know you just brought up to AJ Terrell, right?
You got the
corner
AJ Terrell
treatment. But like, I mean, we'll see when the Falcons play someone with another dominant one. They're not going to care, right? And the Jaguars beat the Falcons handedly. So the Jaguars were okay. What I'm saying is that they were okay with saying, sure, fine, take away Ridley. We're going to beat you. And that's not good for fantasy. Good for the Jags to have that ability to do that. But yeah, I think the floor of the past 2 weeks before the touchdown game, he had much better targets, had several drops, which is also concerning. I mean, I am concerned about Calvin Ridley. I'm just saying it. I view him as a risk reward receiver too. Not
I am as well. I'd still be moderately happy with Amon-Ra and Christian Watson, but with Dallas Goedert probably being cuttable, the roster just doesn't wow me as I did a few weeks ago.
Right.
The
running back.
You have so much running back depth. Like, just make a trade, get it going. Like,
Josh,
there's a lot of capital on this team, a lot of equity.
Has Kessner made a waiver wire pickup other than
No.
a kicker?
Like we're using
The whole
Fab?
year?
Yeah, other than a kicker. No, right?
No, I don't think so.
He has 98 fab, so probably not. But who
What
can
do
he
you say?
cut?
But that's what we're. I mean, we made this point.
Burks and Quinn Johnston.
Quinton Johnston. I mean, maybe if you're
And
desperate,
Njoku.
Trevor, you're not trying to. But if you're
Or
desperate,
one of his tight ends.
Yeah,
he has 3 players he could cut.
But like, you're in that position of like, I spend capital on these guys. I want to see if they perform, and you feel safe with the top end roster. But like, he's 2-2 now. Perform poorly. It's just I'm concerned. I would be concerned.
Could be
if I was-
2-3 after this week if my roster decides to show up.
Yeah. Yes. An improved Justin roster. Yeah. But yeah, drop 2 spots. Kestner's at 3. Noah's at 2.
Change of 3, although it was over 2 weeks.
And I think the biggest
3-1
contributor is-
record, number 1 in points for. I think a consensus upgrade in the trade here, and
Actually,
the
you know what?
emergence of a Chan has been kind of epic.
I'm changing. I'm live updating. Hold on a second.
I am enjoying that greatly.
Where do I do this?
Put me at 12, so I drop down to 5.
I'm doing this right here. Hold on.
Swapping me and Kessner.
There we go.
He didn't
No, it
really.
didn't change.
Yeah.
It didn't change.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Yeah. This team is pretty loaded. I'm kind of annoyed. I was gonna try to like. I mean, you never would have gone for it. Never mind. I was gonna make like a huge push deal to try to get Andrews from you, but now you don't
Yeah,
need.
I can't.
You don't need to pick up stuff. Like you still had some.
I
holes
didn't
before.
really feel like I needed to pick up stuff anyway. Like, it's so tough with Fields because he has such a great game as a passer that you're like, okay, maybe he leveled up. But for fantasy, you don't really want him to pass. You want him to run. And the fact that he's not doing that is a little bit sketchy.
Yeah.
So just to like put my mind at ease, like, okay, I'll let him cook to see what happens. And I'll just have Josh Allen in the meantime is very nice. And yeah, I mean, I can fill out my empty spots on the waivers. I got to pick up Michael Wilson and
I like
Johnny
that ad.
Smith. Yeah, I like the Michael Wilson ad as well. Gives me a little bit more options to kind of wait and see in my wide receiver room. And I mean, a Chain and Swift are running back ones with no signs of stopping. It's pretty exciting.
That's crazy. We were so excited about this roster coming out of the draft, and for not this reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the other two running backs I had.
Yeah. Swift was like, I don't know. Gainwell looks like the guy. We'll see. HM was like, hopefully he can carve something out of the offense. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, they're pumping 20 a week. You gotta keep rocking them.
The wide receivers took a downturn with Wilson and everything.
Yeah,
we thought,
yeah,
we thought
yeah.
they were going to be epic, and yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
completely
probably getting
flipped.
carried by Jefferson there, but like Wilson is auto start this week, of course. He's looked pretty serviceable despite having to have Zach Wilson throw to him.
Mm-hmm.
Tank
And
Dell is
I
almost
still like Tank
auto-start.
Dell. Yeah, I still like Tank Dell a lot.
I love Tank Dell coming out of the draft. I should have held on to him. Annoying.
Yeah, it happens.
Also,
Ugh.
Chain can be kept in the 12th.
HN can be kept in the 12th?
Yes, in the 12th round.
Man.
There is a real chance that he's like the future there. Like I don't think
Yeah.
again. I mentioned
He's-
earlier. I don't think he's the one
I mean,
now.
you watch him play, and he's lightning, dude.
and that's
so
what they
good.
wanted. Like they drafted him because of that. Like
Yeah,
speed, get him in space. And
he's.
McDaniels.
I mean,
is
did
the
you guys watch the highlights from last week? He looks like Deion Lewis with how slippery he is. He just like someone tackles him, and then they just not tackling
But
him.
he has
keeps
2
running.
years more than Lewis ever had. He's
In terms of
so
top speed, yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
He's so fast. Yeah. But yeah, nice trade. We've talked about the trade. Moving on. Kai, look at you, buddy.
Guys at
Number
1.
one.
Change of 2. Really, he was at 3 last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
No, he was at 2.
No, he's
Yeah,
at 3.
that can't be right.
Oh,
He's.
Who?
who was
It
2?
would have been Kessner. And
Oh,
then
yeah,
I
Mike
yeah,
have,
Chan?
he was
I have it
2.
here. He was 2. So change of
Okay,
change of
there we
one.
go.
Change of
Change
one.
There we go.
Yeah, but still taking the top spot. And Justin, you're the lowest on Guy.
Mhm.
Explain yourself.
Yeah, so he's +2 expected wins. Which just shows that he's gotten pretty lucky. And like I think this is not by any, like we talk about one, like we talked about Kestner, like that was a 1. I'm a little there. This roster has some concerns, in my opinion. Debo's already having some health concerns. The Bengals are not right, and yeah, they might get it right, but and Javante's hurt. Like the flex is a little bit concerned. Quarterback's gonna be fine. I actually kind of think, like to me, Justin Herbert is kind of a sell high because his matchups going the rest of the year are not good. He, the best part of his best matches are all behind him now.
Other than
So
Chicago.
yeah, so I think this roster just to me this is a one that I think is going to depreciate over time.
Hold on, let me just punctuate that. Dallas, Kansas City, Jets, Detroit, Green Bay, Baltimore, New England, Buffalo, Kansas City, all on tap. Continue. That's horrible.
So yeah, I'm just, and I don't love the bench. Like there's not a whole lot of depth here, like serviceable. Like Tyler Spears, like yeah, if Derrick Henry goes down, he'll be great. Jacoby Myers is um yeah, I'm like compared to Noah, I think I had Noah above Guy.
Hit me at one.
I also had Kestner. Like those teams like have like really good depth. Like and guys starting roster can compete with anybody. I don't see this team like it's 4-0. You know, all these three teams we're talking about, like they're all going to make the playoffs probably. I think this team is likely going to decline, and it wasn't, you know, it's +2 expected wins as it is. So
Okay, I mean, those are good points. I think that Jordan Love is the future at quarterback. QB3 on the week, or QB3 in ranking, QB4 overall on the year. Hasn't scored below 17. Even last week, where he had a terrible game against Detroit, he had a good game for fantasy because he can get it done with his legs. As in scoring, I guess he didn't actually have any rushing yards, but
-2.
yeah, but he had a touchdown, and those matter. And the B-Robs have been consistent. I mean, I think 4-0. I know expected wins are legit. I didn't realize he was -2 in expected wins, but
+2.
or sorry, +2, but still.
So he should be.
He should be 2-2.
Should be 2-2.
But I mean, I like the depth at running back. I like the depth at receiver. I'm high on Jacoby Myers. I think Jahan Dotson is also going to ramp up. I know the Washington offense is a little bit of a concern, but I think that they're going to figure out how to use Dotson. I think Bieniemy is a good play caller, and they've been competitive, so they'll keep doing that. I know Debo's health has been a concern, and did he? I'm sorry. Did Guy play Debo last week?
Don't think so.
He didn't. Okay, good. Yeah, I wouldn't have played him either. Coming off that injury, but I think better days are ahead for him. I mean, I guess maybe I like his depth more than you do. I love the 4-0, and I feel like we still haven't seen this team's ceiling. Like he's winning without hitting his ceiling.
He's just winning without Jamar.
Right. Like this team could pop off even harder, and he already has 4 wins under his belt, which gives him a lot of flexibility going into the back half of the season, maybe moving some of these pieces to have better playoff matchups. Like he only has to win like 4 more games to make playoffs. You know, maybe even 3, and then like you can just start fine tuning the roster for your run.
Yeah, that's mostly why I had him at 1, as because of the record, because you are still kind of waiting for the Bengals to return to form. I think they will eventually. It might not be for a few weeks. And then yeah, Debo, I don't know what to do with him. I'm still just kind of taking him at face value, like he's Debo Samuel and he's great. So I still like the receiver room, even though you can interpret it as being super sketchy. But I wouldn't be as worried about Herbert as you guys. Yeah, matchups are tough, but it's still Justin Herbert.
Well,
I mean, he'll get you 24 points instead of 30.
Then go trade him, because I would play Love. I think Love is going to be great for fantasy. Like he already has been, and I think he just will continue to be.
I inquired about Love, and he said it would be unlikely because of the keeper values. So I think maybe he should trade Herbert.
15. Yeah, so he'll be a 13th rounder next year. That's very good.
I mean, he's got Vegas, Denver, Minnesota, the Chargers, New York, the Giants, like Carolina, like another Minnesota game. Like he has Chicago. He has just beautiful matchups. Is playing super well. So yeah, go get a boon for Herbert then. Like I'm sure half the league isn't out on Herbert. You know, like, and there are some quarterback needy teams. So yeah, but Guy will figure it out because Guy's a good manager. and he's in a position to like make the right move, not make a panic move. You know, like some of these other teams that are behind the gun.
Yeah, he's still in that second tier of points for it. It's not like he's winning with no points. I think he's only losing to myself, Ken, and Bryn are in a tier above him, and then everyone else is kind of around the 430 mark. So
Yeah.
he's still putting up points.
So yeah, there you go.
What do you guys think about his bid for McLaughlin?
That's insurance piece.
Insurance for Williams. Yeah, okay, I didn't put the Williams connection there. That makes sense.
Yeah. So he has the depth where he doesn't have to start either one, but let's say Williams misses a bunch of time and McLaughlin like steps into a really good role, then that's worth it. That's why I think that's why he went so hard after him.
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense.
And then the 28, like Kyron went for 27, right? And Ford would have gone for,
I believe, for 23.
and Ford would have gone for huge money if he wasn't already drafted.
Yeah.
So, like, if you want to make sure you're putting a guy on the roster, like, I get it. He went for 23 to Josh. So that I think that explains that move. Like, if you're like, I need to have this guy, 30% sounds about right. For what we've seen in regards to waiver habits. Okay, speaking of waivers, real quick. 8 bids on the Lions, baby. The Lions D. And I'm probably only going to start them the 1 week, but there's something that feels so good about
a
winning
rare.
well,
even more so than that is the rare win the bid by $1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That feels better than anything.
It was great. I was like 8 people. Oh, and I got him. Oh, let's go this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very cool.
So, like, I think you outbid me by 1. So I was
did.
scrolling up, and I saw that I got Commanders, and I was like, oh no, someone outbid me. And I thought for sure it was going to be Kessner because, like, Kessner needed defense. He has $100 of fab, and I was facing him this week, so I was like, please not Kessner, please not Kessner. And I saw you, and I was like, I'm good. You can have him, Luke. As long as he didn't go to Kessner, I don't care.
I mean, low key, Kessner got my second defense. I had 3 on the Dolphins because I think against the Giants, everyone's eating against the Giants. So he still got a good one there. But yeah, Kessner's only bought special teams players. It's
all he
defenses
needs
and
to buy
kickers.
right now.
I guess. I feel like coming out of the draft and having a bunch of people that had quote-unquote potential, even if they were question marks, it held him back for putting out money on players like Puka Nacua and Kyron Williams and like valuable waiver ads because we were locked with all of this quote-unquote high draft capital.
Mm-hmm. That is the danger of having that much draft capital.
So yeah, it's unfortunate.
What are the odds that Kessner actually spends all his fab this season?
100%.
I think about myself in that question all the time because I think it ended with like $20 or $30 last year. Need to be a little bit more liberal.
You got to spend like the last week that you're playing, and you put a waiver in. I'm putting all whatever's left goes on that guy.
Yeah, but like, what if you don't need a waiver claim? Even if you did, like, it's not really an efficient use of fab.
No, I'm just shoving all the like. If it's I think it's what I did for my last.
That's not really the point I'm making.
This question is not about what you would do, Luke. This is will Kessner spend all
I think he will. I think he'll spend all of his fab. I think he will.
Okay.
Well, he
might take
may,
him the whole
but
year, though.
if he spends 60% of his fab on the last week, that's not really spending all of your fab. You know what I mean?
Okay. I think he spends 60% before playoffs.
Like, you should probably only have 20% remaining
Going into playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. 20-30%. Yeah. So, there you go. All right, match of the week, boys.
Yeah, let's do it.
I think it's
gotta be me and Ken, right? 2 highest scoring teams going off.
Yeah. We're both 3-1. Though low-key, I think mine and Kessner's is really interesting.
That's what I was going to bring up.
He's 2-3.
2-3. If you win and I win, I have a 2-game lead on him, which would be
with tiebreaker.
No, he has a tiebreaker right now.
He beat you?
He
Yeah.
got me in week 3. Yeah,
I thought
bad
you
game.
started 3-0.
I wish. No. I picked up the win against Jacobs last week. So, but still, having the 2-game win, yeah, I think both of those games. You're against Ken, and then you against Josh. They're gonna be so good.
What about the toilet bowl with the Kobayashi brothers?
So you know what's gonna happen here? Josh is gonna win by like 100. Right? He's gonna smack
It'll be
Sam.
108 to 8 points.
Yeah, and then he's gonna be like, "I'm going. Here we go! The season's
The
back.
tank
baby!"
is canceled. We're back.
He's gonna like absolutely smack the worst team in the league and be like, "Let's go! Bye! Yeah, it's time. Yeah. But I'm really hoping Sam wins because if Sam wins, we have to have Josh on the pod, and losing the 5th game to Sam would be like, it's over.
It's over, dude.
It's so bad. Oh man. Yeah, the toilet bowl. No. Just unfortunate. Yeah. All right. Let's pick. Not a game that you guys are in because that's no fun. Let's pick. Bryn and Guy.
Okay, let's take a look.
That's easy. I'm gonna pick Guy.
Colts against Tennessee, I feel like makes it too easy.
I think there's a good chance Jonathan Taylor actually plays.
That would be devastating for Bryn. I mean, it's gonna happen eventually, though. Like, what is the plan? I don't know. All right, we need to get out of here. I'm getting upset.
Yeah, I'm taking Guy.
Yeah. All right. Well, good to have you guys back. Let's good luck to everybody this week, and we'll see y'all next week.
Peace.
See ya.
Adios.